Okay, so let's move because you mentioned about how there's kind of almost like this hard wiring in the human experience that helps us struggle with truth, and you really talk about that in part two of your book. So can you kind of help us understand what are some of the key like mental or social processes that make individuals more susceptible to misinformation?
So there are a lot of kind of tendencies and inclinations that humans have. We can call them biases, right, or heuristics that we rely on to make sense of the world. And I'm not gonna name all of them because there are way too many. But let's talk about two that really affect misinformation. The first is that we are inclined to accept new information as true. And this is especially the case when the information is negative or dangerous, right? Again, the explanation here is evolutionary and it makes total sense. Back in the day, you left your cave in the morning, you looked outside, you see the bushes around you moving, right? Or maybe you hear a rustling sound from the leaves. What should you do if you turn back and run away, assuming that it's danger, right? Then you survived. And then you increase the chances that you and I are the antecedents of these people who turned away and ran away. If you stopped and questioned yourself and went to the bushes to check what it was and were not, fully sure that you have all the evidence needed and so on and so on, you probably at some point died. And if you died, your genes are not with us anymore. So accepting information as true, especially when it was dangerous, especially when it was making us feel scared, was a good idea. We often did it by identifying patterns, right? So we look at the bush and we see something moving, that something is not the normal pattern of the bush, and then we assume that we need to pay attention to some danger in it. Or on the other hand, we see a bush and we see berries on it, and we use pattern recognition to kind of make sense if we should eat the berries or avoid them. All good and well when you live in the jungle or in the middle of the desert somewhere by yourself, or with a small tribe, because back in the day being wrong didn't have a lot of impact on the world around you. I mean, for the prehistoric person, being wrong was not a big deal as long as he avoided dangers, right? These days we still rely on these tendencies, these biases that are baked into us, but now our mistakes can, I don't know, bring creatures to extinction, warm up the earth to degrees that's going to cause terrible harms, increase the chances of large scale epidemics. So we remain the same creatures largely that we were in the past, but our impact on the environment has grown so much that our mistakes now matter much more. So this is kind of the first bias. The second one, I think, connects to a lot of other things we're going to probably talk about today, and that's our need to get along with others. To survive in your natural habitat in the past, even today, but definitely in pre-industrial societies, you needed to work well with others. You needed to be accepted and to accept what your tribe is saying, what your group is saying. Let's go back to that cave and leave it again on a different day. And you leave your cave, and the leader of the tribe, let's say you live with 40, 50 other people, and the leader says, look at the clouds up in the sky. These are gods, and those gods want us to sacrifice humans to it. Okay. Maybe you don't think that it's true. Maybe you think the clouds are just clouds. Maybe you don't believe it's the god. It's the gods. But if you rebel against your group, if you say, "Hey, I don't think that your story about clouds is correct," you will be shunned. You will be kind of taken out of the group. You will not be allowed to procreate with other women in the tribe. And in the worst of cases, rebelling against the common knowledge of the group would just lead to your death because they will just kill you. So, in all of these cases, the outcome will be you not bringing more kids to the world, which means your genes are no longer with us. So, we are the kids or the antecedents, right? Or the descendants, sorry, of those who believed their eyes, especially when they heard something scary or dangerous, and those who got along with others and conformed with their opinion, even if they suspected that the group might be wrong. both have nothing to do with truth, right? Both have to do with surviving. So survival over accuracy is kind of what brought us, I think, to a large degree to where we are.